Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. It's WIP It Wednesday for Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. So if you want to see what I've been working on this week, please stay tuned. I'm very excited about this week's WIP It Wednesday because I actually have an almost finish in the pile, so I'm really excited. I'm ready to share that with you. Excuse me. So I will quickly go over the little bits and pieces that I did, and then we can take a look at my almost finish. Let's start. I think we'll start with Polly and Esther. If you watched this past week's video, I made the pattern for a polyester panel that my grandmother made. I've started with just the poly side. I'm going to do the Esther side for Sunday so that I can show you that. I'll put a picture of the two panels here, and then you should be able to see this mostly brown panel pretty clearly. And then I drew it out right here on my graph paper, and then I added some borders. I'll link last week's video up so you can see the process to get to this point. And this week I will finish, or over the weekend I'll go ahead and do the Esther side and start getting those fabrics ready, hopefully to add some pieces to. This is going to be a really interesting project because I've never worked with polyester before as a quilting fabric, and I think it's been a really long time since I worked with it as an apparel fabric as well. So ready to get started on this. Another thing that I did, if you've been following, I've been working on this A Star Is Born pattern from Cozy Quilt Designs, and I made two blocks. This is it's a block that can be made with 2.5 inch strips, and then it has a larger square in the center. I'm actually doing it with 2 inch strips because I'm using a motor scrap bag. So these are the blocks that I made. Well, this one I already had it made, but I gave it a nice press. And then this is the one that I made for this week. I'm probably, since I'm going to work the polyester quilt, I'm probably going to put this to the side for a little bit, but I do like this quilt. I like the blocks. I like the way they're coming together, but I think I'm going to focus on the polyester quilt after I get done with my pieces of my heart quilt. So this is going here. I have my shoebox here. I keep my works in progress in shoe boxes. So this is the shoebox for my finished blocks, and the other pieces are in another shoebox. I have this top has already been finished. This is for the Jamaican Sunrise quilt. I'll put a picture in here so that you can see it, and I'll link the video for it. The only thing that I did for this is I made my binding strips. I had a few choices, but a lot of people were interested in seeing this yellow, and so I went with the yellow as my binding. I strongly encourage you to, after you finish a quilt top, go ahead and make the binding. The thought of quilting a whole quilt and still having to sew to put this binding together is not for me. So every time I make a quilt top, I go ahead and put the binding in there. That way, even if it takes a while for me to find the backing, the binding is already there and ready to roll. Okay, the last thing that I'm sharing, this is a pile of batting and backing that I cut off of the pieces of my heart quilt. So it's quilted, and here is the leftovers. So let's go take a look at that quilt now. Here is my completed pieces of my heart quilt. It's completely quilted. I'm going to take the camera off of the tripod. The last time we saw it, I was working on the bottom section here. So that's all done. And then a couple days ago, I started the top section, and it's all finished now. I guess I'll zoom in a little bit on the quilting. But once you've seen it, you've pretty much seen it, can you? But it's all quilted, and you know that because there are no safety pins in it. There's some good quilting right there. And it is very cool. Let me flip over and show you the back of it. I chose to use matching thread colors so you can't see the quilting unless you like look it up close at it. But I think that it needs to be hung. I think if it was hung, we would be able to see the quilting really well. Here is the backing fabric. And to me, it matches the feel of the quilt because it's so colorful and pretty. And I like it. I have enough of this backing fabric left over that I think I'm going to try a hanging sleeve for this quilt. I've never put a sleeve on a quilt before, so it'll be my first time. But it's very cool. It turned out great and awesome. And I'm ready to wash the quilt and put it on my bed. After I get it bound, of course. I love the way that the Pieces of My Heart quilt turned out. As I said before, after I made the quilt top, the binding was already ready. This is just some more leftover fabric that was gifted to me. So I didn't even really have to buy anything except the backing fabric for that quilt and the batting too. Okay, so if you're interested in the Pieces of My Heart quilt, I have the pattern on my Etsy. I'll link that in the description box as well. If you have any questions about what you've seen today, please check out the description box and look at those other videos. Also, you can leave a comment in the comment section and I will answer it as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye!